buy some kimchi, sail to the other side of the world, visit London, get punched by pirates so hard I went back in time, arrive home to become a millionaire. Piece of piss, mate. Ladies, gentlemen, MBs, today I am playing Uncharted Oceans 2. I filtered on new and trending an MMORPG on Steam, and this came up and had a colourful, light-hearted feel about it. I think the pixel graphics are pretty decent, certainly good enough to not be off-putting or anything. It's something a bit different as well. I've not played many top-down pixel graphic MMORPGs, so we'll see. And typically I'm not against them, but I'm certainly not the biggest fan of JRPGs or chibi style type stuff. But most importantly, it was free, so I get it downloaded and ready to fucking blast about on the seas. The game quickly gets going in a fast and silent efficiency. The graphics are cheerful and bright and kinda nostalgic. I get to make my character, which lets me choose a background and some perks, and I end up choosing the Medici family of Florence because they got some bonus donuts.
Safe.
You get to choose your starter ship, and I went for speed.
Speed's what we need. We need
greasy fast.
And I make some sort of Ziggy Stardust girl and choose a wizard stick. And there seems to be a fairly generous range of different components and looks to make your little pixel character, so that's nice.
明嘉靖年间，屯门海战与征贡之役发生后，朝廷实行海禁，封锁港口，销毁船只，断绝了海上交通。然，皇帝迷信方式日渐腐朽，尊上道教，不问朝政，滥用民力，大肆营建，一心修玄，日求长生。为求不老仙药，皇帝派人多方打探，终觅得徐福后人踪迹，废除海禁，训练水师，开辟了前所未有的海上航道。
But then we get off to a delightful start, and I'm enjoying these jams I'm being served. One of my criticisms in the last review was that shit didn't get going fast enough, and you can't say the same here. Fucking hell, steady on, mate. I'm dealing out some fat beatdowns straight away, and I lay the smack down on some candy asses. We're chasing the pirates and get jumped by a kraken or something, and the graphics aren't half bad. Nice portraits, nice classic 16-bit pixel graphics. I chinned the kraken back to the depths, but then it immediately just blasts out and obliterates my ship. For some reason, just because I was in charge and all my crew died, I then went to prison for being attacked by a magical sea beast. Seems legit. Already the writing is showing signs of being a bit mad. Clearly this has been translated from Chinese, and if I am honest, I think it's kind of giving the game its je ne sais quoi. To summarise what I discerned of the early plot, I get everyone killed for fighting a sea monster, I go to prison for some time, and then a mysterious thief girl in the prison does a jailbreak, and then when I go outside I am apprehended by guards, but then let go and told that the thief wasn't a prisoner or something, and she just goes in there and lets herself out or something. I don't know why, but it isn't important, because what is important is that we are starting again from nothing. But most important is that we are keen to make a success of ourselves, sea capitalists, on the seas of greed. I'm also a right little fucking job's worth as well, for the only reason I actually break out of jail is because I need to stop the thief so the guards won't get in trouble that she broke out. a fucking bootlicker. Before we go any further, I am loving this cheery little song. And surprisingly, it didn't actually make me go mad over my 6+ hour experience with the game. And let me tell you, you're going to hear it a lot. The tutorial is an idiot's delight and literally guides you through every click, but it did actually end up teaching me the basics in a fairly passive manner, so touche game, touche. I get set up with what I need because once I broke out of prison and everything, I was just let go to make my fortune and given my Destiny Search and Survival pack, as it were. So once I'm kitted out of everything, we get to see, and I am once again loving this fucking music. Nothing too special, just sort of joyous and cheerful. Then I get into a tear up with some pirates. We throw some sass back and forth before we get into battle. Battle which is in a siloed arena and doesn't happen live, which is okay for now and fairly enjoyable as I wreck this chump, but the instance combat does become a bit of an annoyance later on. Mechanically, combat is enjoyable enough, I would say, it's not too bad. Hit buttons and blast shit. I don't know how much tactics there is actually really going on. The game starts taking you to different port cities and you start to explore what is a fairly big world, i.e. the world, our world. And then we learn to trade, the circle of life. The tutorial's doing well, every now and then it throws some untranslated voiceover at me, and even though I don't have a fucking clue what they are saying, it still makes sense. Then we're taught how to level up, and I see there is a fair amount of skill to spec into, so plenty to grind for in that sense. Before long we're out at sea, and I have some argy-bargy with some pirates who at this stage in the game, I just body them completely. I do like how I can just click on the next quest and then click complete, and I auto-travel there. The lazy man's delight. The story reinforces the central premise of trading, and I can kind of see where the main loot will be. Go from place to place looking for goods selling at a lower price, buy some, and then go somewhere else where its value is higher and sell it. On the way there, you may meet pirates and have to dish out a maritime beatdown to get to your destination. Oh, just a small point, I have a donkey. I don't ever remember buying a donkey, you just have one and you just bomb about on a donkey, which I like. It continues to guide me through crew members, achievements, building a small fleet. When in the city it looks like different cities may be held by a guild, and so I wonder if these are PvP elements where you get to compete for territory. I can't be bothered to do that, but it's something that might be fun. I spend a while just hopping around what I think is 16th century Asia, and each new place you go to has a little bit of history attached to it, and that's interesting. I also wouldn't want to vouch for the veracity of any of those historical statements. The translation feels slightly off, but what should I expect? I don't play many games like this. Sometimes it feels like it's a bit AI generated, and other times it feels like it's more like it's a fucking riddle, the way certain shit is phrased. We continue to learn about buying and fitting cannons for our ships and adding new ships to our fleet, and I like the UI. The art style is good. It isn't the best I've seen. It's not Sea of Stars, which is what comes to mind from recent memory in terms of like gorgeous pixel art, but it's colourful and clear and it's pleasant. We learn to hire a crew, starting with a lad with a monkey, and we're slowly building the layers on this onion. Let's fit more cannons and we beef up our naval power, and soon enough we are back at sea. Each place I go, I buy some goods to take to the next place. I travel around between Korea, China, Japan and Indonesia, and I'm quite enjoying the mindlessness of just trading a bit of stuff on the side as well. Went about fulfilling story beats, which are just little exposition dumps while progressing the quest further. I find the daily login reward and other things I can claim, and this is how I will be given bits of in-game currency, I guess, as I do notice some gems which I don't have any of yet, so I expect that this is something that will be introduced later. But at this point, nearly a couple of hours in, there hasn't been any need for me to look in the cash shop, and that is something that will continue as we go along. I pick up a shitload of kimchi and get back to sea.
Boss.
I spin a wheel for some kind of daily bullshit and I win a book. Huzzah! The levels keep going up just enough that you feel like you're getting a little endorphin boost here and there as it tinkles away. I don't think they're doing much in reality, but they add to the overall vibe of the game. The game guides me through getting a crew together, and I find an Englishman in the sea, and wouldn't you know, after rescuing him, he wants to sail the world with me. Don't they all, Bunny? Then in a brief moment of excitement, I board someone's ship and kick the shit out of everyone with my fire stick. The pirates look suspiciously like the other pirates that I've fought. They've gone for the absolute bare minimum portrait art, but again, it is decent enough art. Now, let me just get back to the English fella. His name is Jack, and he is some kind of bungling dandy farting about on the sea. After I save his narrow ass, he joins my crew, only to then drop on me that his wife has to come with us, so I go and find her, and I make her like a janitor or something in the ship. Problem solved. Not long after this, the little prick also cheerily lets me know that he owes his friend 100,000 golds, and then I must have had some sea fever or something because my character apparently just offers to pay it off for him. But I guess I won't get lonely at sea now, and if all goes wrong, I could just eat Jack and his wife. We learn that we can adventure on land as well as sea, where we can gain access to dungeons. The dungeons, there's like sort of naval versions and land versions, and they are rudimentary at best with a few targets. Very simple combat, not very big. Maybe they get much bigger, who knows, I'm not going to get there probably, but I'm wondering whether they play more of a part in terms of what rewards you'll actually get for them. But on a mechanical level, bit shit, something to do. After clicking along obediently, I get the chance to revenge myself on the sea creature from earlier, and I toss out a fat beatdown. Is this... As a second monitor idlish game, I'm not enjoying it, and as always, the music remains cheery throughout. I played for at least another hour or so, just carrying out the quests as directed, but at some point my interest started to wander and I began to wonder whether I should go rogue and see what is out there and ignore the tutorials in the main quest. Seeing as I was in and around China, over that side of the world, I decided that I would go to London. I would sail all the way down and around Africa and come up onto Portugal and then across the Channel to the British Isles to London. And this would be a fittingly grand expedition where I would pit all my learned knowledge against the seas. So away I go, creeping around the coastlines, avoiding pirates where I could, smashing them up where I couldn't, and slowly eating away at the fog that obscured my vision of the world map. It takes me a long time to get around, and as I go, I keep discovering various ports and cities, and each time it will give me a little bit of history guff to read. I'm now feeling reinvigorated with my own self-declared target, to get to London and trade some of the exotic goods that I have bought across the sea from foreign lands. Along the way I start to encounter more pirates who seem to be getting tougher, and I discover that you can just pay the pirates off with $200 to let you pass, and so I start doing that. As I do my long journey up the western coast of Africa, I ponder in general about the game, what it must feel like to just build up your fleet and capacity and just do laps of the earth, stopping and trading goods in different ports, and there certainly is a great deal of game to get stuck into in that way. You could get a lot of mileage out of building these elements up and seeing your gold pile going up as well. One thing I noticed is that even though I hadn't really paid too much attention, I had managed to earn some gems, which upon getting killed at sea, I could use to just resurrect at that location. If not, you can start at a port. So I guess that would be quite annoying and perhaps you might lose a lot of progress. I think that is probably a catch. I certainly have rezzed with them more than a few times and I haven't yet run out of the small amount of gems I have, and at this point I was about 5 hours in and I haven't had to entertain the thought of spending any cash, and to be honest, I don't think that I am going to be pushed to get involved with spending any real money, obviously, but I still think there is a lot of game to be had before you'll need to necessarily get your wallet out. But none of that mattered now. We were coming up for foggy London town and we were about to complete our mission. In reality, the reality was that London wasn't particularly exciting, it being pretty much like every other destination in this game, which all kind of look a bit the same. And also, perhaps just like London in real life now, it seemed very expensive. So what do now? I wasn't quite ready to stop yet, so I decided to take the long way home and complete a loop of the massive continent and go past Russia and the chilling cold of the Arctic Ocean. So off I went. I filled my cargo holds with paper and set back off for China. What I did find about halfway round is that the pirates are so fucking hard that they just obliterated me, and it was essentially a race each time to see if I could offer them $200 before they fired one shot and literally exploded me into dust. So that became a bit problematic and I had to learn to just be very quick, and again I spent some more gems and re-rezzed in order to do that. But my dogged determination and quick fingers did allow me to get all the way around and back to where I had started from. So I'd completed my personal goal, but after selling my swag I noticed that I was very close to being a millionaire. So I felt that destiny was saying that I should run just one last job to make that money and get myself over that line. So I bought up some produce and set out once again for a local port to perform a simple trade. Pulling into port, I was satisfied and looking forward to completing my trade and then retiring a made woman. And so it was done, and so was my time with Uncharted Oceans 2. Now I can clearly see that there is a lot more game here. You would clearly need to get a really high level ship to deal with those Arctic pirates, and all the various upgrading you can do with the ships and the setup of them and the people that crew them. The trading part is sort of endless really, I guess, and you can always grind to make that number go up. At some point there is gonna be a point where it tightens on you, I'm sure, but I suspect that you can put that off for a long time. I have definitely enjoyed this mad little game. I know there will come a time when getting beat at sea is going to mean losing a frustrating amount of gear, progress or time. There was also a whole fucking houseboat thing, like player housing, where you can craft stuff to go in it. So there are a lot of areas of the game to invest time into and just grind away peacefully and tick things off. So for free, you probably get more than enough out of it to have a go. If you hate JRPGs, then you're probably just going to fucking hate this. I don't think this will be the game that changes your mind on that. I think if there was definitely one thing I would like to see, it would be just open live combat. I don't like the instance combat, and I'd like it if it was a bit more of a free-for-all, a bit more free-flowing. As a pleasant looking, chill, mindless grind game, it feels pretty good. I haven't uninstalled it yet. Not yet. If I'm honest, I don't feel like I will go back to it ultimately, but I don't want to remove the option just yet. It is quite good as a kind of chill second monitor type game, one where you can just watch TV at the same time and just give half a shit about it. Obviously it has got a cash shop, and that cash shop has got various packs and one that goes up to like $99 fucking dollars. So, you know, c'est la vie. But have a go yourself. The catch is the cash shop, but as cash shops go, not too bad. You're not forced into it, it's not too greedy. But even without it there is plenty of mad fucking game here to have a go on for completely free. Not a bad way to kill an evening or two.